Hello all. This video we are going to be discussing the homework answers. Okay, that is Algebra Chapter 2 Lesson 1. So hopefully you have done the homework so you can check the answers if you have not understood anything. So let's start with the first question. You have to graph and write inequalities. Describe the solutions of each inequality. So you are going to describe the inequalities here. Okay, so as we have discussed, here before we describe the solution we need to solve this. So as you know, this is 2 multiplied by m. Now the same thing, it works as an equation. I have already told you about it. So 2 multiplied by m means we need to remove the 2 from here to bring it with the number. So what happens is it becomes m is greater than or equal to 6 divided by 2, right? Because it's multiplied here, so it changes the sign. When it changes the sign, it changes its function as well. So m is greater or equal to 6 divided by 2, which means m is going to be greater or equal to 3. So how are you going to describe the solution? As I told you the short way, all real numbers greater or equal to 3. So this is going to be this is how you write the inequality in words. All real numbers, see the sign, it's greater or lesser, greater or equal to 3, or lesser equal. The same thing we're going to do here. T plus 3 is less than 8, which means I need to move this 3 to the other side. So what happens when 3 moves to the other side? That becomes 8 minus 3, which means it's going to be 8, t is less than 5. How are we going to write it in words? All real numbers. My R is blank. All real numbers less than 5, right? Okay, now the same here, but only the thing, okay, I think you know what to do here because the x is behind. I told you to do something if you could remember. Fine, so let's start with bringing the number first. So that's going to be 1 plus 5, because minus 5 will become plus 5, is less than x, which means 6 is less than x. I told you it's better always keep the variable in front because it becomes easy for us to graph the number and graph the inequality, as well as it's easy for us to write the solutions. So if you bring the x in front, what happens is the sign will flip to the other side. So here it is lesser, flip means it will become greater. So x is greater than 6. So you're going to write the solution as all real numbers greater than 6. Than 6. All right. Okay. Now this is a fraction inequality, right? But you're going to do the same thing. So my half multiplies c, which means when you move the half to the other side, that becomes negative 10 divided by negative half. Because here it's multiplied, so it becomes divide. Is greater or equal to c. Now, you know what do? We do not have dividing, so we do keep it, change it, and flip it, right? So minus 10 into minus 2 will give us positive 20. Then 1 into 1 will give us 20. 1 into 1, 1 multiply 1 will give us 1. So this is going to be, I forgot to write this, c, and greater or equal to c. 20 divided by 1 is going to give you 20, greater or equal to c, right? Now, as I told you, it's better always you change this to the other side. So when you change, that will become c is less or equal to 20, right? So how are you going to write the word for explain now? All real numbers less than or equal to, my handwriting is too bad, or equal to 20. This is how you explain them in words. Easy, isn't it? It's quite easy. Just that you're solving the inequality just how you would solve an equation. That's all. Okay, let's move to question number 5. Okay, they want you to graph the inequalities here. So if you notice, here they have not given you numbers. Why do you think they did not give you numbers? You have to write the numbers. That's why they didn't give you numbers. Okay, so this is a small number line, so we have to graph x is greater than -7. So greater means, the arrow is pointing to the right side. So I could say that I will start here from -8. Now you don't have to worry about the number line. Even during the quiz, the number line will be given. You don't need to draw it. Okay. So this is going to be, let's take intervals of 2. So -6, -4, -2, 0, and 2. Okay. Now we need to draw the inequality. So when you're drawing the inequality, remember what are the steps I told you? I told you if it is greater, just draw the circle. So this is -7. We know -7 is between -6 and -8. So I'm drawing the circle, right? The next step is I'm going. Let me draw. Use another color because if not, you will get confused. So I will use red. Well, that's not my favorite color, but that's bright. So I will draw a straight line and draw the arrow. That's because it's greater. So greater means it needs to go to the right. As you can see, it's pointing the same side as well. Same side as the arrow tips. See? Greater. Greater, it's the same. Okay. So similarly here, 4.5, question number 6 here. Okay, p is greater than or equal to 2 to the power of 3. Now you need to solve 2 to the power of 3. How are you going to solve 2 to the power of 3? What does this mean? This means 2 multiply 2 multiply 2. 2 multiply 2 is 4. 4 multiply 2 is going to give you 8. So 2 to the power of 3 is 8, which means the inequality which we are going to graph is going to be p is greater or equal to 8. Okay, so let me start by writing these numbers. Let me say this is 6, 8. Okay, let me start. This is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. These are number lines. Don't, again, I'm repeating, you don't need to worry. During the quiz, it will be given to you. The number line will be given to you with the numbers. Okay, so I have to draw p is greater or equal to 8. So what am I going to do? First, I need to start by drawing a circle at 8 because the number related is 8. Now, is it going to be a colored one or the shaded or an unshaded one? Definitely, I need to shade it because it has the equal sign as well. So I'm going to shade it as well. Okay, now decide where the arrow should point. Where is the greater sign pointing to? It is pointing to the right. Similarly, you will draw the arrow that side too. So this is how your inequality is going to look like. Now, if you would have started here with 6, 7, 8, your line will be a little bit longer. Not necessary you need to use the same numbers. You can even start with 5, 6, 7, 8, doesn't matter. Okay. 4.5 is greater or equal to r. Remember I told you keep the r always in front because it becomes easy for us to graph. Now here, because the number is given, what happens is we need to graph the opposite. So it's better we write it properly. We're keeping the r in front. So this becomes r is less than or equal to 4.5. Okay. So let me say this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to graph r is less than or equal to 4.5. So 4.5 is here. First, let me draw a circle there. Right now, is it going to be shaded? Yes, it's going to be shaded because there is lesser or equal. Then again, where am I going to draw the line pointing at? It's pointing to the left. So I'm going to draw it to the left. This is how your inequality graph will look like. From 4.5, it's going to the left, which means it is lesser. So r can be any number here. R can be 4, r can be 3, r can be 0 also because 0 is less than 4.5. So any number which the arrow is pointing, going towards, it can be any number. Okay, this one here, y is less than the negative root of 14 minus 5. So first let's solve this one. So 14 minus 5 is going to give you how much? 9, right? Okay. What is going to be the root of 3? Sorry, root of 9. The root of 9 is going to be 3. So does that mean y is less than negative 3? Correct? Because the root of 9 is 3. 3 multiplied 3 is 9. So the root of 9 is 3. So there's a negative sign here. That means it's negative 3. Y is going to be less than negative 3. This is how you need to solve it. They're just confusing you by giving this one negative sign. So what you do, first solve what's inside the root sign, the square root sign, and then you find the square root of that number, then keep the negative sign with that answer. So negative 3. So let me start with okay, I will start here with 0, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10. Again, don't worry about this. These are the numbers I'm choosing. You can choose any numbers you want, but then you need to follow a scale. Okay, like you cannot say this is 0, 3, then here this is 4. You cannot say like that. It should be equal amounts in between. If you're using 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, that's fine as well. If you're using 0, negative 5, negative 10, that's fine as well. You need to follow a pattern. Okay, so y is going to be less than negative 3. So where is negative 3? Negative 3 is in between negative 2 and negative 4. So I'm drawing a circle in between. Now, is it going to be shaded? Of course not, because it has only less sign. Now, which side is the arrow point? Which side will you point the arrow at? You're going to point it to the right, left. So left, because it's lesser. L for less, L for lesser. So your inequality graph should look like this, because you can find out. See this? I think this is the head of the arrow here. So it's similar. See, here also see, this is similar. Okay, let's move to this. Write the inequality shown by the graph. Now they have given you the graph, you have to write the inequality. So as I said, you can choose any number you want, any variable you want, any letter. I go with A first, always. Okay, and you know why. So A, now, okay, write the number. I'll make it more easier for you. Write the number, choose any variable you want, write the number on which the circle is at. Now look at which side is this arrow pointing at. It is pointing at greater sign. So this is going to be greater. Okay, wait, let me write it neatly. This is going to be greater. That's not neat also. Okay, now I need to decide whether I need to put the line down or not. That depends on the color of the circle. Now this is not colored, so that means I don't need to put the equal sign down. So the inequalities for this is going to be A is greater than 6. So let's try this. First, what I'm going to do, choose any letter you want, any variable. I will go with B. Okay, then write the number on which the circle is. Keep some space and write the number on which the circle is on. Negative 2. Right, now check which side is the arrow pointing. You see the tip of the arrow. The tip of the arrow is showing which sign? Lesser sign. So you put the same. Now, is it colored? Yes, that means you need to put the equal sign down. That's going to be B is less than or equal to negative 2. It's easy, right? Okay. I'll go with C. A, B, C. Okay. So write the variable, then give some space, write the number on which the circle is on. So the circle is on 8.5. Okay. Now again, look at which side is the arrowhead pointing to. It is pointing to the left. So that means the same shape you're going to write here, less. C is less than 8.5. Is there going to be a line down, less or equal? No, the circle is not colored, so we don't put the equal sign down. Then coming to this, D, choose any letter, keep space, write the number on which the circle is on. So the circle is on 45 here, so I write 45. Write the variable, leave some space, 45. Then look at the side of the arrow. Where is it pointing to? It's pointing as a greater sign. It's going to the right. That means it's greater. Am I going to write the equal sign here? That depends on the circle is colored or not. If the circle is colored, you will write the equal sign. If the circle is not colored, you will not. So here it's colored, So definitely I need to write D is greater than or equal to 45. Surely you will get all these answers right. Okay, define a variable and write an inequality for each situation. Graph the solution. Okay, Josephine sleeps more than, so more than, you know what sign is going to be here, greater than, right? It's going to be greater than 7 hours each night. So she's sleeping. Can we name this as S because she's sleeping, or J for Josephine, anything you want. But I choose S for sleep because I want to sleep too. Okay, so S is going to be greater than 7. This is going to be an inequality. They said more than, which means greater. So let's graph this. I could start by, okay, let me start by 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So what am I going to do? First, I need to draw a circle on which number? On 7. Is it going to be colored? Of course not, because there is no equal sign, right? Then the next is draw the arrow. Which side is the arrow? Which side will you draw the arrow? To the right or to the left? You will draw to the right because it's greater. So greater goes to the right. So this is going to be the graph. Okay. In 1955, the minimum wage. Minimum means it should be not less than. For example, if you want to get, if you want to pass, you have to get a minimum of 8 marks. Minimum means you need to get at least 8 marks. So which means they're referring to it should be greater than or equal to. Minimum means it cannot be less than that. It needs to be more or equal to that. So was 0.75 per hour. So wage. So I'll take the letter W. That's going to be greater or equal to 0.75. Now these are words which you need to understand a bit when you're doing these kinds of questions. So because this is now in decimals, so I will start this with 0, 0 0.5, 0. I'll not write 0. I will start with 0.25, then comes 0.5, then comes 0.75, then comes 1, then comes 1.25, and 1.5. So I'm only worried about the 0.75. So let me draw a circle on 0.75. Now is it going to be colored? Yes, it's going to be colored because there is the sign equal to, and you need to draw the arrow to the right. I don't understand why they have all given arrows to the right for us to draw. So this is going to be right. This is how your inequality graph is going to look like. So here only the problem here was the minimum. Minimum means it should be more than or equal to, means it cannot be less than that minimum. So hopefully you have done all this right. Comment and let me know if you have got all the answers right or if you have any problem. If you have any doubts, you can definitely ask me. So till we meet again in the next video, keep practicing.